Boom, bada bing. Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show, late night edition from the. I don't even want to say late night edition. We get started late every night, every
It's
time
late
we
every
do this,
night.
every Sunday night. But it's the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Big Rich coming in with his eye red, looking like he just gotten beat up in the battlefield, calling games left and right. We're working you to death, man. I just appreciate you're here, strolling in after the battle scene, it seemed like, man. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. How's everything going?
Everything's going great. I hope you're all enjoying that Sunday night football game between the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots.
I just woke up from a nap, so yeah.
Yeah, and
that's how boring it's been.
Able to live stream this and have that in the background. But, it's great to be here. Another exciting weekend of high school sports. And we got a lot to talk about because we got some championships coming up, too.
Yeah, we do. And we got volleyball, softball, a lot tuning in coming up in the next few weeks. We're going to recap what happened in high school football. We had some minor upsets. We had some big-time wins. We had some bloodbath McGraths. And we got some movers and shakers happening in the playoff race. We drop our rankings as well. And where we're going to be this week, we got a jam-packed week. And I'm excited to make an announcement. We're going to be going on the road somewhere that we're making it. I can't believe we're doing it. Call me crazy, because I am. But we're going to make a drive about an hour and 15 minutes south of here because there's a region championship on the line. I'm teasing you because I'm going to let you know where that is coming up later on the show. First, let's take a quick break. Say thank you to our sponsors like Coke, Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC, Kinetic, and Houston Clinic. We'll be right back after this. It's a late night edition of the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
For game day, work day, or any day, Glenn Smith in Opelika is loaded with GMC Sierra and Canyon trucks. Choose from a huge selection of the best-selling full-size GMC Sierras discounted up to $13,750 off. Test drive the new mid-size GMC Canyons with a comfortable ride and strong towing, discounted up to $4,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until December. Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
Georgia Alabama Sports Live wants to say thank you to Zaxby's for their continued partnership with us for over the last couple of years since we started this. Your partnership has meant the world for us to give you premier coverage for all the local sporting events around the Chattahoochee Valley area. And specifically, I want to thank Judson Humphreys, my good friend, and the Phoenix City location, being with us from the very beginning, man.
Absolutely. Well, we just appreciate what y'all do in the community for these student athletes, and we just want to be a part of it.
Whether it's tailgating, parties, or you just want a quick bite to eat, come to the Phoenix City Zaxby's location and tell them Georgia Alabama Sports Live and Thrift sent you. Thank you again to Judson Humphreys and Zaxby's for our continued partnership on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Even though I'm away at college, Kinetic Credit Union is still the best way for me to stay connected here and at home. With the Kinetic mobile app, I have control of my accounts wherever I go. I can easily transfer money between internal and external accounts, get money faster by setting up recurring transfers, and I can find the nearest ATM or branch right from my phone. Plus, I can add my Kinetic cards to my phone's digital wallet and enjoy quick, secure, contactless payments. By the way, Mom, I need some more money.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
For game day, work day, or any day, Glenn Smith in Opelika is loaded with GMC Sierra and Canyon trucks. Choose from a huge selection of the best-selling full-size GMC Sierras, discounted up to $13,750 off. Test drive the new mid-size GMC Canyons with a comfortable ride and strong towing, discounted up to $4,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until December. Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone. Thrift and Rich, Rich and Thrift, the Rambler and Thrift here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. You better watch out. You better not cry. The Rambler's on site. He'll get you. I messed up that song. I needed to come up with something. But, Richard, great job on the call last week. Northside Mondays Mill. We'll start there. Recap of scores. Northside needed a big win, and the Rambler came in and saying, listen, y'all need a win. Never fear, Richard's here, and they dominated Monday's Mill. Again, the running attack, Jay Jackson, and you wouldn't think at the beginning of the season, especially with Oropeza, he likes throwing the ball over the field. You got Caden Clay, you've had Braxton Wilkinson there, guys that can literally sling it. This year, it's been about the running attack, and they go to 2-4 in the season, get a big win against Monday's Mill in the region.
Yeah, normally Travis Wakefield was their quarterback, but Coach Oropeza put in the sophomore Max Thrash because they wanted to see if he could pass football. He did a good job, and he held his own, but it was the running attack of Alex Tarboro, Jay Jackson, and Gabe Galarza. And Monday's Mill actually shot themselves in the foot when they were down 14-0 after that pick six. Then Anochi got the pick six. That
pick six. Somebody let loose, didn't they?
I pulled out.
They let the click out. Yeah,
I pulled out the Joe Tessitore on that call for Anthony Anochi on that pick six. It's then 14-0. Monday's Mill driving the football, had a 1st and goal with about 15 seconds left to go with no timeouts. They try to hurry to the line to spike it to at least get one more play or to possibly kick the field goal. Time expires, and they leave going to the locker room with no points. Yeah. That was deflating from Monday's Mill.
I'm already deflated.
Yeah, they were deflated. And Northside ended up getting the impressive 32-14 victory.
Yep, and now Coach Orpeza's team has some winnable games coming up here, Richard. I know next week they got Stars Mill at home.
Griffin.
They got Griffin coming up on
Griffin
the road.
This Thursday, they got Griffin.
And it's at Griffin.
It's at Griffin.
And it's going to be a tough one. Griffin.
That's going to be tough.
Laid the wood down and probably what was our bloodbath.
Might be the bloodbath. That's what I was thinking.
But we'll wait just a second because there was another game that could have been a bloodbath, but I won't call it that because, again, it was 3-0 with 5 minutes to go in that first half.
Wow.
Carver and Shaw. Now, Carver-Shaw 20 years ago, this is the number one game in the entire state. I don't care what classification.
No question.
When it was Charles Flowers against Del McGee, are you kidding me? Sign me up week in and week out when these two teams would battle it out. Obviously, Carver has held their end of the bargain the last 20 years. Shaw has not been the same since the late 2000s, and when the 2010s hit, Shaw has been a middle-of-the-pack team here and there, but obviously I was impressed by their defense. They kept it close, and then Carver just does what Carver normally does, which is get ahead, throw the ball to their athletes. Tarver was sensational. Castlin had a couple touchdowns. Can you believe this? Zach Watts has gotten called back now five returning touchdowns. He has 3 already on the season. He should have 8. This guy is just electric, the phenom. Sebastian Hurd made the plays when necessary in the air, and they ended up winning 47-0. Again, Shaw kept it close. They battled as tough as they could. And then Carver, 4 turnovers in that first half. I know if you're Coach Jones, this is a good moment to kind of say, hey, guys, next week we're playing for a region championship in Sumter County. You give them 4 easy turnovers, they're going to capitalize and score points, unlike Shaw. So Carver wins this one 47-0.
Shaw's been the most disappointing team this season. To get shut out 3 times this year, this is the second game in a row that they have gotten shut out. And even though they have a bye because they're going to need it, they're playing Spencer in 2 weeks. And then they close out the season with Kendrick and Jordan. I could see them losing 2 out of the 3 and going 2-8 on the season.
wow.
It has been a very disappointing season for the Shaw Raiders, which I had high hopes. I thought they were going to go 6-4, 7-3, and make the playoffs. They have made the playoffs in the last couple of years, as just about every year. But I just don't understand the quarterback continuity with DJ Peterson and Aaron Grant.
Yeah.
Who's your quarterback? And I know they lost a lot of seniors from last year's team, but you've got to build a program, and I think that Shaw is just not getting it done on the field. I know that they've played a tough schedule, but they've been disappointing.
Yeah, we both had them winning 7 or 8 games this year, and they have not lived up to that expectation. They go to 1-6. Carver 7-0. All right, those 2 games we broadcasted. Let's talk about the other 4 that we broadcasted. Pacelli and Calvary 0-0 at halftime. Calvary, this is now back-to-back games in which they have only scored 6 points. And the 6 points was a kickoff return for a touchdown Jamar Williams had against Brookstone 2 weeks ago. A back-and-forth battle, defensive struggle in that first half, a lot of penalties. Pacelli came out in the second half. Dustin Sherman was great. Cam Carino was good. I'm listening to the running back's name that was excellent too.
DJ Colvin.
Colvin, thank you, Richard. Dave Platt was on the call for this. Calvary had opportunities. Pacelli scores. Calvary then comes back. They tie the game, and then Pacelli scores to go up 14-7 late in that fourth. They get a field goal to go up by 10, and they really put the nail in the coffin with that 24, with that last touchdown. But Pacelli, they go to 3-4. Smitty Grider's team playing with a lot of confidence to try to finish out the season strong. If you're Calvary, you're scratching your head for answers. And the problem is you don't have another easy game to kind of regain your composure, because next week's against, I think, a top 3 team in Westfield. They just beat FPD, who just beat Stratford, and Stratford blew out Pacelli and Brookstone. So I know you can play that game for a lot of teams, which this team beat that team, that beat this team, that beat that team. But Calvary has to play a good Westfield team at home, on the road at Strong Rock, and then against the number 1 team in the GIAA going into last week, Stratford, which it may now be Brookstone after Stratford's getting their second loss. But Pacelli gets the win. They go to 3-4. Calvary 5-2 now. How about the Vikings, Rich?
Yeah, Pacelli, basically, they've got some winnable games on their schedule. And, the GIAA ranked them 9th because of their tough schedule. I think they're going to jump up in the rankings. Dustin Sherman is now the quarterback. He's taken over for Bobby Gary. And Dustin Sherman has got confidence in this Pacelli offense. And Cam Carino's coming back from injury. And you have DJ Colvin. They have, in my mind, a very good wide receiver trio in Jason Davis, John Thompson, and Michael Rowe. Those are 3 weapons that Dustin Sherman can use. And that defense just continues getting better. Skylar Sanchez is anchoring those middle linebackers. We know about the defensive coordinator, Damian the Nighthawk Daniels. And Pacelli's got a lot of confidence going into Max Strawn Stadium on Friday, where they have a chance to take that Brucelli jug back and put them on their campus, because Brookstone is saying, we're not having it. We're keeping the jug. I can't believe that the battle for the Brucelli jug is finally here. But, yeah, that's what Pacelli gets to look forward to, and Brookstone, fresh off a bye.
You couldn't wait.
You amaze me, Thrift. You really do.
I was
you
trying
really
to.
amaze me.
Listen, I just wanted
the
to talk.
silence says it all.
Because you could not wait. You had to be the first to talk about that Brucelli job.
Hang on a second. Yeah, because that's a segment we talk about the games that's coming up this week.
Yeah.
But your silence says it all.
It is deafening, isn't it?
It's deafening.
And Richard just smiling makes it you don't know what to
do. It could
do.
seriously just make a show snowball, continue, and go down. So let's move on.
If you've ever seen Dan Lebertard with Stu Gotts, I am Dan Lebertard, and I try to get under the skin of my guy Stu Gotts over
I was thinking more
here.
Colin Cowherd, Jason McIntyre.
So you're the McIntyre?
Well, now more than ever, Jason McIntyre doesn't want to be Colin Cowherd's producer. He wants to be his co-host. Because I watched The Herd with Colin Cowherd every day.
I didn't mean to open up that can of words.
Jason McIntyre he's starting to feel like he's more important. He's got his own podcast now. He wants to be the co-host so bad.
Jason Mack, you heard it. Richard's coming after your job. And you better watch out. He's coming to LA, and he's coming for you, McIntyre. And if we're going after Fox people, I'm going after the nose. What's his name? Who grew his hair out? I call him the nose.
The nose?
Yes. Nick Wright. Thank you,
Nick
Chrissy.
Wright.
And you're looking at me. I call him the nose.
The nose, Nick
if you're
Wright.
going after McIntyre, I'm
Doug
going after the nose. All right, we really went off on a tangent.
We went off on a tangent, I know.
Griffin and Harris County homecoming for the Tigers. That's the only thing positive that was for Harris County. Blood Bath McGrath. 38-7. I couldn't think of in my opinion, a better example of what a bloodbath McGrath is than going into someone else's house on homecoming and really dominating. That was Griffin and Harris County. Unfortunately for the Tigers, Griffin's really improved. Obviously, last year, Griffin one of the worst teams in that region. This year, you can't say that. Griffin's also beaten Spencer this year.
Stars Mill,
and now Harris County. It looks like Griffin, Jonesboro, and Central of Carroll. Those are the top three teams in this region. Northside, Stars Mill, Harris County vying for that fourth spot. Here's the positive for Harris County, because there wasn't much from a 38-7 beatdown, is that they're not out of the playoff race. They got at Stars Mill, who's 1-6. If they win that, County pretty much solidifies themselves in the playoff, and I think they'll end up finishing 5-5 on the season.
Yeah.
And because they still got Mundy's Mill, that's a winnable game. Probably going to win that game, and that'll be their fifth one. 5-5 with a young team. Think about this. They're playing a sophomore quarterback. They got a sophomore in Jalen Robinson. They're playing a bunch of freshmen and sophomores on the defense side of the ball. Tommy's building something for the future. They're going to take their licks this year, obviously. And then next year, the year after, I'll watch right now. I'm telling you, Harris County is going to be one of the top teams in that region the next 2 seasons. But this year, they're obviously doing it as best they can with what they got. And Griffin just is better. So was Jonesboro. And when they play Central of Carroll at home, which is next week, that one's going to be a tough one. Or 2 weeks from now, excuse me. No, next week, sorry. But Griffin wins at 38-7.
Usually when you see a game that's like 7-7 to start and then the opposing team just blows out the other team with 31 unanswered points, it's because your scripted plays were able to work on that defense. The game preparation, it's there, but the depth and the talent is not there yet. This is still a young team. But I tend to see this with teams that they get a close game with a team, and then the team that has more depth, more experience just blows the other team.
And that's what happened this Friday night,
exactly
Rich, and that's a great point. Griffin with more experience, Harris County they kind of stall it out on offense. And we've seen that a couple of times. They did that against Jonesboro. Remember, the game was close there.
Yeah.
Carver, it was never close. But same with Griffin. I mean, you start off good, and then Griffin just started taking over, and they were up big at halftime, weren't they, Richard?
Yeah, they were.
And then the second half kind of pulled away. So Harris County loses to Griffin. Smith Station, their homecoming. We had quite a few homecomings. By the way, it was Northside's homecoming and Carver. Smith Station takes down Jag. How about Blair Harris?
Yeah, here we
win
go.
number 2?
Yes.
42 points they put on Johnson, Abernathy, Gratz. And Smith Station goes to 2-5 on the season. Get a big win at homecoming. Congratulations to the Panthers. And the other game we did, I was there for the game of the week. Bryson Riggins, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdown passes. They were great on defense and stopped a really good Stanhope Elmore team who came in undefeated. There were 3 undefeated teams in that region: Pike Road, Stanhope Elmore, and Russell County.
Here we go.
Russell County dominated Stanhope Elmore 28-10, and now they get a bye before their massive. I'm talking about a huge game, October the 17th, at home against undefeated in the region, not undefeated in the season, undefeated in the region, Pike Road. But Russell County, big win, 28-10. And Coach Griggs seems 7-0 heading into the bye week. And Smith Station gets a big win over Jag, 42-32, Rich.
A couple of things. Smith Station's running back, Luke Sexton, he's really good. He had a couple of rushing touchdowns. I think Smith Station just getting their second win when they didn't win a single game last year is huge for the program, even though their schedule does get tough with the likes of Auburn and Dothan and Enterprise. But, Smith Station is still learning just to develop a culture. As far as Russell County, who would have thought 7-0 and being ranked even out into the possibly top 5 as one of the top 5 teams in 6A? Are you kidding me? I mean, think of all the powerhouses like Clay Chalkville, Saraland, Hueytown, Spanish Fork. You could put Russell County in that group. Pike Road. So this battle with Pike Road, which is at home because they're a very good home team. That's going to help Russell County. Possibly, we could be talking about Russell County winning a region championship and hosting 2 playoff games. And that hasn't happened since 1998. What we're seeing at Russell County, they're making history. It's incredible to be a part of it.
No doubt about it, Richard. So I've been really impressed what I've seen from Smith Station and specifically Russell County. So great job by both of those programs and getting wins. Other games that we didn't do, Glenwood goes on the road and takes down Randolph County. Gators are in the playoffs, and they are another win away from playing for a region championship October the 17th against Lee Scott, just like Russell County. They take down Randolph County 49-22. Columbus goes to 5-1 on the season.
There we go.
Dominates Greenville 42-8. Sumter County blows out Spencer 51-14. Sumter County setting themselves up for a region championship this Friday night. And Kendrick beats Jordan. How about Coach Mayo's team? Their 4th of the season. They go to 40-0.
Just want to say a quick edit. So Russell County they are going to play a home region game, and if they beat Pike, that's for the region. But Russell County's in the playoffs, so they will host a home.
Yeah, so Russell County is
yes.
in the playoffs. We know that, and they will host because top 4 teams make
Top
the
4
region.
teams make the playoffs. So, yeah, first of all, let's start with Glenwood. They trailed 22-21 at the half. 28 unanswered points in that second half, outscoring Randolph County. A very good Randolph County on the road up in Wadowee. And so Glenwood, they play Dadeville. They should get a win there. And then that showdown against Lee Scott Academy, that is looming large coming up in a couple weeks. Columbus, well, we know they got the Midtown Showdown coming up. And then they face Kendrick. You know Columbus could be 7-1 going into that game against Spencer. I mean, that's something that is definitely a possibility. Columbus is going to make the playoffs, but we could talk about Columbus hosting a playoff game. I mean, they have not made the playoffs since 2018. And so that is also on the horizon. Another team that can make the playoffs, although it's a little bit of a tough stretch, is the Kendrick Cherokees. They do have winnable games against Columbus, against Shaw. But Kendrick right now 4-3. They're looking pretty good. And I don't know what to say about Spencer losing to Sumter County 51-14. Just the simple fact that Sumter County is really good. And we picked Spencer because we thought Spencer lost to Sumter County by 1 point in Americus last year. But this is a much different Sumter County team. And so Sumter County is the real deal. And that's not anything to hold your head on. Spencer is going to be fine. Their next opponent is actually going to be in 2 weeks because they face Shaw. So Spencer's going to be on a bye this week. And then they close out the season with Columbus and Hardaway.
No doubt about it. All right, and so a couple of the other scores that happen that include you may mention of Jordan and then Spencer losing as well. So, all right, we'll take a break. When we come back from break, we'll drop our rankings coming up next on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
For game day, work day, or any day, Glenn Smith in Opelika is loaded with GMC Sierra and Canyon trucks. Choose from a huge selection of the best-selling full-size GMC Sierras, discounted up to $13,750 off. Test drive the new mid-size GMC Canyons with a comfortable ride and strong towing, discounted up to $4,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until December. Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
I'm always on the go. But with the Kinetic Credit Union app, Kinetic is always with me. The Kinetic mobile app is virtual banking at its best. With the Kinetic mobile app, I can easily send and receive money, make a deposit, pay some bills, and I can even open up a new account, all from my phone. And I can monitor all my accounts in one place, all on the go. The Kinetic mobile app, energized banking at its best.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
At Jack Houston Memorial Hospital, our focus is you. Even though we performed more than 1,300 joint replacements last year, we treat you like you are our only patient. Your surgeon explains your joint replacement, so nothing is a surprise. Our team knows your treatment plan, and we work together to get you back on your feet again. That's why our hospital is recognized year after year as a leader in patient satisfaction and quality of care. Jack Houston Memorial Hospital. Excellence, always.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Welcome back, everyone. Georgia Alabama Sports Live show, Thrift and Rich. All right, we do it every week. Throw it up. Rankings. So, I think there's a misnomer out there that because they're a private school, don't think that they can't win games against teams that are on this list. I'm going to be honest. I think Brookstone beats everybody on this list except for the top two. I'm 100%. I don't care if it's private, public, doesn't matter to me. I see good football teams. But it's hard to do that head-to-head because we're doing off of what we think we know. And I'm trying to get away from opinionated stuff, even though these are all subjective and they're all, again, based on what me and Richard think. But I will say this. There is no perfect way to rank these teams. I understand their strength of schedule. We also are trying to reward teams that are winning games. I get some teams play tougher schedules than others. There really is no right way to do this. But in the end, if we're seeing teams that you're losing, no matter what, win and you stay up. Lose, you're subjected to, all right, well, why is this team better than this team? And to be honest with you, aside from the top five, Glenwood, Columbus, Brookstone, Russell County, and Carver, the other teams have all been inconsistent. Calvary, I understand, is 5-2, but they've only played two teams with winning records, and they're 0-2 against them this year. As far as Columbus, I know they haven't played the toughest schedule either, but they're 5-1. It's one of their best seasons in history. The whole point is there is no correct way to do this. We try our best, and the whole premise of when we started this was saying, how good of a chance do you have of winning a state championship in your league? Well, I'm sorry, Kendrick doesn't have much of a chance. They are 4-3. They deserve to be in our top 10 because I think they are higher up in their classification than maybe a Smith Station. And we put Kendrick and Smith Station head-to-head, I would probably take the Panthers. Yes. Not probably, I would take Smith Station.
Would take the Panthers. But
that's not how we do our rankings. That's a 7A school against a 2A school. So how do we do it? Who is better in their classification? And in my opinion, Kendrick is better in their classification than Smith Station is in theirs. And I get Smith Station plays in a much tougher classification with much better teams. Does that matter? You can't penalize Kendrick for being a smaller school. So Kendrick comes in at number 10 at 4-3. Number 9, Harris County. Now, Harris County's got some good wins over Daugherty. They beat Northside, a decent team this year, and they beat Manchester. Now, they've gotten dominated by teams like Griffin, Jonesboro, and Carver, and Troup County. And all four of their losses, they've lost by 30 points or more. They have not been close at all. All right? So, and I think they lost by 28 against Jonesboro. But, again, if you're going to hold me accountable for not being specific on the amount. But I know Harris County and all four of those teams, Troup County, one of the top teams in 3A. We know how good Carver is, one of the top teams in 2A. Jonesboro has always been a perennial powerhouse, and Griffin's been much improved this year. These are not bad losses, but again, how big of a chance have they got to win their league? Well, they're the fourth best team in their region, all right? So with that being said, Spencer, who's 3-4, you look at them, they are also the 4th best team. Then I start looking at who has a better opportunity of winning on the road in the playoffs. Is it Spencer against a 2A team in which they could get a draw in which it's a team that they can beat because they play in a tough region? Or is it Harris County? Do we think they're going to go on the road and beat a number 1 team from somewhere else in the state of Georgia when I think the 4A classification is one of the toughest areas? Again, we're talking semantics. There's no correct way to do this. But in my opinion, I got Spencer at number 8. You could have Harris County there. Again, does it matter? They're both 3-4. They're both not winning a state championship this year, and they're both probably going to finish 500, all right, in their classification.
Yeah, those bottom teams in our rankings will more than likely lose in the first round of the playoffs. They're not necessarily playoff teams. They're going to get into the playoffs because in Harris County's case, they have a chance to be the 4th best team in their region, and they'll make the playoffs. We saw what they did last year. They lost to a very good Creekside team because they were the 4th seed. Now, with Spencer and Kendrick, they have what's called the power rankings, which means they take your overall ranking, and you could see maybe 5 or even 6 teams from the region that makes the playoffs. It helps that Carver and Sumter County are ranked in the top 5 in 2A. And a team like Columbus, because of their record, regardless of what happens with the rest of the season, it looks like they're going to get in the playoffs. Kendrick's going to need some help. There's a team on this list that's not ranked. I mentioned Shaw. When Kendrick plays Shaw, if Kendrick beats Shaw, I think that's going to put Kendrick in the playoffs. But they still got to play Columbus, and they still got to play Carver. But 4-3, I think Kendrick gets into the playoffs. Harris County, I think they're a playoff team just because of being possibly the 4th best team in the region. And we know that Spencer is going to be in the playoffs if they win out.
So, again, I can hear you say Harris County's 8 and Spencer is 9. I can hear you say Harris County may be higher.
They're interchangeable.
But right now, I got them either 8 or 9. That's where I have them. Now, number 7 is Calvary, and the reason they're number 7 because they did win 5 games. I know they're not against great teams, and if Calvary continues to lose, they'll continue to drop down in our list because, again, you need to win against good teams as well. You can't just beat up on the teams that are not very good. So Calvary's got a big one against Westfield. If they win that, they'll shoot up because Westfield is one of the top teams in the GIAA, but they're 5-2 after their loss. I moved Pacelli to 6. Again, I can see why you would want to say, well, could Harris County be at number 6? Again, we're talking about teams that I don't think have a chance to win it all this year. And that is the number 1 criteria. Chance to win it all in your league. And I don't give any of these teams a very high percentage of winning it all. So now we got to move on to the next criteria and the next criteria. And once you start doing that, then it becomes about semantics. I got Pacelli at number 6 because you did beat a good Calvary team. And I think there's enough talent on this team that if they go and play Brookstone competitive, that they could finish out the season around 500, and then they could make a difference because think about the league they play in and the GIAA. Yeah. They're going to be a top 6 team in 4A. They should be rewarded for winning against a good Calvary team at home. Pacelli comes in at number 6. So 6 is Pacelli, 7 Calvary. Number 5 is the Columbus High Blue Devils. I'm rewarding them, and this is just me, because they won 5 games and they're having one of the best seasons in the last 20 years.
Yes.
They should be rewarded for that. I don't care if they haven't beat a team with a winning record. None of that has bothered me. I've been impressed with Coach Peters. They can beat who they have on their schedule, and they have done that. Their only loss is to Carver. Columbus 5, Pacelli 6, Calvary 7. Rich.
Yeah, Columbus should be rewarded for having a 5-1 record. And they did beat a very good Greenville team that was coming into that game with a winning record. I think that what Coach Robert Peters has done has just been fantastic, and he's got a quarterback he believes in Andrew Smith. That's why I think Columbus could get to 7-1 because they play Hardaway and they play Kendrick, and then they finish out the season with Spencer and Sumter County. This is going to be a playoff team. As far
could
as
it be a team that goes 9-1 if they lose to something, an 8-2 team?
Yeah,
they go 8-2 this year. They beat Spencer, only losing to Sumter and Carver. That is very impressive. I
agree.
Commend Coach Peters on a great season.
As far as Pacelli goes, they're ranked high in the GIAA, and they've played a lot of tough teams. They've played a tough GHSA's team in Whitfield Academy, FPD, Stratford. I mean, these are no slouches. And they got ready to face Brookstone. Pacelli's got everything in front of them, and they've got winnable games on their schedule. And we have them ranked ahead of Calvary because they won the head-to-head. I know Calvary's got a 5-2 record, but Pacelli's played tougher competition, and they beat Calvary not only head-to-head, but they beat them decisively. And so that's why I think that Pacelli deserves to be at number 6. Calvary deserves to be where they are because, yes, they are 5-2. Their most impressive win was on the road in Woodbury against Flint River, which is a 1A school in GIAA. But, yes, that was an impressive win. But they've beaten a really bad Mount DeSales team, a really bad Tattnall team. Terrell County doesn't have a winning record. And they beat a Southwest Georgia STEM charter team that might have had 20 players dressed up. So once they got into playing Brookstone and playing Pacelli, they were tested. And even though they weren't completely blowouts, they were still, Brookstone proved that they had just better players on the line that were more physical. Same with Pacelli. Pacelli was able to win that game, even though it was 0-0, because, they were able to win in the trenches and they won with their depth. And I think that's going to hurt Calvary, especially when they got Westfield School, a really good team, Strong Rock, and Stratford Academy next on their schedule.
Number 5, we said Columbus, top 4. Glenwood goes on the road, beats Randolph County. They have everything, it seems like, in front of them to finish undefeated in region play and get 8 wins and win back-to-back region championships. How about that for those who said Glenwood couldn't win in the public sector? 5-2, goes on the road, dominates Randolph County. They got Dadeville at home this week, and then they got a winnable game against Dadeville, and then that potential region championship against Lee Scott coming up October 17th. Brookstone was on a bye. They say at number 3, they got the Brucelli Jug coming up this Friday. Russell County. The Warriors are undefeated.
Here we go.
Are you kidding me? 7-0 are Dylan Griggs, Bryson Riggins, Chris Lucas, that quartet of excellent receivers. The defense has been lights out. Russell County is legit. They're good. They can win. And I think they're a team that I could see making a deep run in the 6A playoffs. And then the number 1 team, the prohibited favorite in 2A, and dominated every game this year, the Carver Tigers, 7-0 and ranked number 1, Rich.
First thing, one thing about Carver, every team is you're going to get their best shot at you. And that's why you saw Shaw down 3-0 in that second quarter. But Carver's depth eventually took over. And if you make mistakes against Carver, they're going to make you pay. Carver overall is the most talented team that I've seen since I've covered high school football in this area. And they're doing it with freshmen, Sebastian Hurd and Zach Watts. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, this team, I know they got a tough matchup against Sumter County because Sumter County looks really good too. This is just something's got to give. It's a collision course between 2 top 5 teams in 2A. But as far as I'm concerned, Carver is going to be number 1 on this list, and there's no question about it. Carver has a better chance to win a state championship compared to Russell County, and the only reason why is because Russell County is in 6A for Alabama. Now, there's talks like if Russell County played Carver, I mean, that would be an interesting matchup, but there's a reason why Carver's 1 and Russell County's 2. As far as Brookstone, they do have a loss, but Brookstone has a pretty easy path to win a state championship. They're probably going to be ranked number 1 in the GIAA after Stratford lost to FPD. And then as far as Glenwood goes, they got that showdown with Lee Scott Academy in 2 weeks for the region championship. So I agree with the rankings. Usually, we have a debate about the rankings. If we see like a big upset, sometimes you'll fall in the rankings, but those top 4 teams have stayed consistent just about all year.
No doubt about it, Richard. So, been impressed for sure to see what has happened with these teams so far, Rich, and a great job by all of them, how they're going to finish out the season. We'll take a break. When we come back from break, we're going to not do the nominees for the Hoolans Highlight of the Week, which voting will start on Tuesday, and we'll talk about where we're going to be this week on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Even though I'm away at college, Kinetic Credit Union is still the best way for me to stay connected here and at home. With the Kinetic mobile app, I have control of my accounts wherever I go. I can easily transfer money between internal and external accounts, get money faster by setting up recurring transfers, and I can find the nearest ATM or branch right from my phone. Plus, I can add my Kinetic cards to my phone's digital wallet and enjoy quick, secure, contactless payments. By the way, Mom, I need some more money.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Houlihan serves fresh, handcrafted dishes made just the way you like them. Juicy burgers, sizzling steaks, crisp salads, and shareable appetizers set the table for every appetite. Relax with friends, celebrate special moments, or enjoy a casual night out. Houlihan's delivers great food, great drinks, and great times, with 2 locations in Columbus, downtown at the Marriott Hotel and on Sidney Simons Boulevard at the Doubletree Hotel.
It's a great day for a new Chevrolet from Glenn Smith and Opelika. Silverado and Colorado trucks ready to roll. Get going in a powerful new full-size Chevrolet Silverado with discounts up to $13,500 off. Drive away in the mid-size Chevy Colorado ready for work or play. Discounted up to $4,000 off. People from all over the USA are going to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
Georgia Alabama Sports Live wants to say thank you to Zaxby's for their continued partnership with us for over the last couple years since we started this. Your partnership has meant the world for us to give you premier coverage for all the local sporting events around the Chattahoochee Valley area. And specifically, I want to thank Judson Humphreys, my good friend, and the Phoenix City location, being with us from the very beginning, man.
Absolutely. Well, we just appreciate what y'all do in the community for these student athletes, and we just want to be a part of it.
Whether it's tailgating, parties, or you just want a quick bite to eat, come to the Phoenix City Zaxby's location and tell them Georgia Alabama Sports Live and Thrift sent you. Thank you again to Judson Humphreys and Zaxby's for our continued partnership on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the program. Let's do the Houlihan's Highlight of the Week nominees. All right. Without further ado, check them out.
Fowler's got room ahead of her. It's a pick six for Addison Fowler.
Great job keeping this thing moving upfield.
Riggins on second down. Riggins fires it deep. He's got a man. Caught! Touchdown!
Throwing in trouble, tipped and intercepted by Fowler. And Fowler's got room ahead of her. It's a pick six for Addison Fowler.
Great job keeping this thing moving upfield.
Riggins on second down. Riggins fires it deep. He's got a man. Caught! Touchdown!
They give up the middle. This is Sexton. He's loose. He's gone. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Smith Station.
It's the pick six by Addison Fowler. That was excellent, man. Then you had the touchdown from Bryson Riggins to Quentin Lewis, and then the 70-yard run by Smith Station. All great plays. You can vote on Tuesday on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Instagram page. That is the only way you can vote. Go let us know. Last week, it was Legatron, Isaiah Virgil. This week, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Riggins or Lewis? I really think that was an incredible pitch and catch over the shoulder, adjusted in midair, and then got into the end zone. Then the 70-yard run by Smith Station kind of got them, catapulted them to a big victory, got them up 28-6. And then, of course, the pick six. Great job, Harris County. Big win by them and their flag football team. Second game of the season, and they take down Bowden.
Yeah, I cannot wait to get to my phone and get on Instagram and vote for one of these three incredible highlights. And I know that it's very simple. Just pick up your smartphone, go to Instagram, watch the highlights play, and then there's going to be a screen where you'll have an opportunity to vote, and we'll announce a winner.
Well, big win by all three of those teams. Harris County flag football, also Russell County undefeated, and Smith Station getting their second win of the season. All right, where are we going to be this week? Tomorrow we got Brookstone at Shaw softball. Good game. Shaw, a region champ, hosting against a much improved Slade
Stillwell. Two first-year coaches, by the way. Coach Britton for Shaw, Coach Stillwell for Brookstone.
Frost will be on the call for that. We got Glenwood Coaches Show tomorrow, Pacelli Coach Show as well, and then Hardaway at Calvary. Richard, you'll be there for that. Calvary hosting Coach Anthony's team. Tuesday, we got McIntosh at Harris County softball. We got Tatnall at Calvary softball. And then we got Glenwood. You'll be there on the road at Chatco.
I finally get to make it back to Chatco. Last time I was there, it was a basketball game between Chatco and Marion County, and Champ Simpson had like 30-some-odd points. But I'm glad that I'm going back to Casita. They love it when Georgia Alabama Sports Live makes an appearance.
And then coming up on Wednesday, Carver at Brookstone, flag football. Richard, I know you're excited about that. Muskogee County Region Championship Volleyball. I'll be there for that. Calvary Coach Show, Brookstone Coach Show, and then Opelika at Smith Station Flag Football. Thursday, it's the Midtown Showdown. Second year of the Midtown Showdown. Chris Gates, he circles this every year.
Yes,
he loves every part of it. Last year was all a part of the festivities and everything that went into it, and glad that we'll be back there. Richard, you'll be there with Ricky Rock, and then Lewis, and then, of course, all the camera guys. Westfield at Pacelli. Dave Platt on the call for that. That is softball. And then on Friday, we're doing it.
We're doing it again.
6 football games.
6.
I'm going to say it one more time. 6 football games. I'm looking into the soul of my producer right now as he looks at me like I'm sick. I'm disgusted. I'm tired of you working me through. Like, he feels like this is mutiny going to happen. He's about to call, what's the guy's name that started Teamsters and started?
Jimmy Hoffa?
Jimmy Hoffa. He's calling Jimmy Hoffa. Hoffa's coming from the grave, coming after me. A union starting at Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I'm working my guys. And Chris Gates is Chris Hoffa of Georgia
What,
Alabama.
you think you're better than me?
You think you're better than me? Huh? As he's going going after.
Just don't
Kennedy.
recreate that scene from Goodfellas with Joe Pesci. Oh no. Okay.
Richard, go get your shine box, man.
Go get your shine box. There you go. You love that movie, don't you? We quote that movie all the time.
6 games, and here they are. Auburn at Smith Station. Auburn taking a beat down last week against Central. Smith Station upset Jag. Not calling for the ultimate upset, but I could see a very competitive game.
Absolutely.
That is at Smith Station. Mike Peacock on the call. Dadeville at Glenwood. Dadeville, a much improved team. Glenwood trying to stay undefeated in region play, get to 6-2 ahead of their massive big-time matchup the 17th next Friday, which will be for a region championship. Harris County goes on the road to Stars Mill. This is for a playoff spot. They beat Stars Mill, they're in the playoffs. If they lose, Stars Mill, Northside, all 3 of those teams vying for that last playoff spot. Harris County does have a winnable game against Mondays Mill, and then they got Central of Carroll. By the way, they play Mondays Mill at home and Central Carroll at home. So both those games will be at home.
Yes.
Mondays Mill is senior night, if I'm not mistaken. Westfield at Calvary. Rex Castillo on the call. Calvary needing a bounce-back victory after back-to-back losses. They're back at home playing a really good Westfield team. But if I know Coach Brunson and the Knights, they're going to bounce back, and maybe they get a massive win. If they do, I think Calvary has a chance to rectify their season and maybe meet the expectations of trying to make a deep playoff run. If not, it could be tough sledding the rest of the way. And then 2 games that mean a lot. First, it's the Brucelli Jug. Pacelli at Brookstone. It is part of our doubleheader game of the week. We got 2 games of the week. And Scott Miller will be there. Pacelli at Brookstone. It is going to be a ton of fun. Cannot wait to see that. Ian Headley, Smitty Grider, 2 first-year coaches getting experiences. You know how it's going to be at Brookstone. And then I am driving to Americus. You're right. I'm crazy. And I'm going down to Sumter County. And it's the biggest game, I think, in the state. It is top 5 Sumter County against number 1 Carver. Undefeated versus undefeated. Teams that have blown out everybody on their schedule. I cannot wait to be there. Carver, Sumter County, for it all. 2A region championship. 6 games. All with playoff implication. Harris County Stars Mill playoff game. Westfield Calvary, 2 playoff teams. Dadeville and Glenwood. Glenwood trying to play for a region championship. Carver, Sumter County, that is a region championship. And what can you say about the rivalry that is Pacelli Brookstone? It is going to be a lot of fun, Richard.
Oh, I cannot wait, especially that Sumter County Carver game. And the former Carver defensive coordinator, Justin Newman, who's now the coach at Crisp County, probably knows a little thing or two about Sumter County. His team played Sumter County the closest. That was that first game of the season. And then since then, Sumter County has just blown out everybody, including Spencer this past Friday, 51-14. So something's got to give between these 2 schools. And you're right, Thrift. I think that this matchup with Sumter County and Carver should be the game in the state. I know that they have their game of the week in the state of Georgia. I think that this needs to be completely hyped because you have 2 teams, both 7-0, both for a region championship going at it. And then I always love rivalries. And in my opinion, the Brucelli Jug, Brookstone Pacelli, is the best rivalry in Columbus. I would rank that with just about any rivalry out there. Carver Spencer, Glenwood Lee Scott, the backyard brawl with Central Smith Station. These 2 teams do not like each other. Pacelli has one goal in mind, is to get that Brucelli Jug back on the campus. And Brookstone, they wanted to keep it there. It was a big deal when Brookstone actually went into Diamond Field last year and got the Brucelli Jug back. You know, they beat them in the playoffs, but they didn't get to hold on to the Brucelli Jug. And these 2 teams always met in the playoffs as well, and so that could be a possibility. But it's a huge game not only because of the Jug, but because Pacelli's trying to solidify their position in the playoffs, and Brookstone wants to stay number 1.
Well, that's what we're going to be. Cannot wait. And then it won't be broadcasted on Georgia Alabama Sports Side. We will be covering it. That is the Volleyball State Championships. Richard, you'll be there on Friday, the semifinals. Brookstone and Pacelli both move on, and they play each other. So we'll have that. And, Richard, you'll have an interview hopefully immediately after the game with the winning coach. And then you'll be there Saturday, too, for the championship game.
Cannot wait.
So cannot wait for that. Should be a ton of fun, and I am super excited about it. Well, we want to say thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate y'all watching, as always, and we've had a lot of fun. We'll see you next time. on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show.